Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. Back by popular demand, I've been asked once again to share my thoughts and my predictions on the upcoming UFC 286 fight event. Now, before I get started, I want to address one thing. I got a nasty email from an individual the last time I did predictions saying, "You don't know what you're talking about. You shouldn't be making predictions." Okay, the last fight prediction video that I did, I was right on every single prediction except for one. That is hard to do. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a magician, but I do understand the fight game. I understand a lot more than people might think. Sometimes when you make these predictions, the thing that you say is going to happen happens. And sometimes the unexpected happens. And that is why we love fighting so much, because you never really know what's truly going to happen. All you can do is share your thoughts and opinions, and that's what I'm going to do here in this video today. So let's go ahead and get on over to the internet. We are going to take a look at the whole event. So let me go all the way to the bottom. We're going to take a look at the early prelims, and we'll get started there. I'm not going to make any predictions on the early prelims or the prelims. All my thoughts and opinions and predictions are going to be on the main card. So this fight is taking place at the O2 Arena in London, in the UK, and it is stacked with local talent from the UK. So it's a very, very cool card. First fight, we got a United States versus Venezuela. We got women's flyweight bout kicking off the event. I'm not going to make predictions here. There's your first person from the UK. Looks like a good matchup there. Here's another one from the UK. A woman from Brazil. Going to be quite interesting. Again, there's a UK and a Canada. Very cool. Looks like they got a lot of talent, like I said, from the UK. Going to be cool. We got Brazil in the house. And then again, another UK. And that's the headliner for the early prelims. Now let's get into the regular prelims. We got a UK versus Brazil. Very cool. Number 12 on the in the flyweight division. Very cool. That ought to be an interesting fight. And then Sam Patterson, he's from the UK. Got a guy from Israel. Very cool. And then moving up, Chris Duncan from the UK. This dude got some cool tattoos. He probably wins the tattoo contest here. Looks like he's got something like maybe the Japanese sun and a samurai or something. Very cool. Looks like an interesting lightweight bout. And then I think we are now at the headliner for the prelims. Again, another person from the UK. So all of the early prelims and prelims, with the exception of, I believe, one, had someone from the UK. So very, very cool. Now let's get into the main card. This is what I'm here. This is what I'm going to break down and talk about. We've got number 4 in the middleweight division, Marvin Vettori, taking on number 9, Roman. This is going to be a crazy fight. Roman has very good boxing, his kickboxing, and he's got underrated jiu-jitsu, very unorthodox jiu-jitsu. One of the things that Roman did that I remember very, very well is he was in the process of a scramble, so they were on the ground, and he caught a knee slice technique while he took the guy's back. So he has the submission on the knee slicer, and he's hitting the guy in the back. From the back, not saying the back of the head. He was punching the guy in the head. So very, very smart. Again, things that you might not expect on the ground that he does. Very unorthodox stuff. So even though he's number 9 going against number 4, this is still a competitive bout. We do have, they've got Marvin listed here as the favorite, and I can see why. He's a credible fighter. If you look at some of his losses, they come from tough people like Robert Whittaker and Izzy Adesanya, former champions. Now, Marvin fought in Phoenix against Israel, and one of my students went to that event and saw it live. I didn't go, but this is a good fight. Now, the thing that I've noticed about Marvin is it doesn't seem like he has that snap in his punches. When he throws a punch, it's like a power punch. He doesn't have that crisp, snappy, accurate kind of punching. But the punches that he does throw, they do damage. So when I make my prediction on this fight, I think Marvin Vettori gets it done. So let's move up to the women's flyweight bout. We got number 8 in Jennifer Maia from Brazil versus number 12 Casey O'Neill from Australia. Now this is going to be an interesting fight. Casey O'Neill, I know a lot more about her than I do about Jennifer. Now Casey's got underrated jiu-jitsu and fantastic striking. And I just happen to feel that Casey's going to get it done. Even though she's ranked number 12 going against number 8, I just feel that she gets it done. Let's move forward. We are now in the welterweight division. We have a very interesting fight between Conor McGregor's friend Gunnar Nelson versus Brian Barberena. Now, Barberena, I've never met Brian, but one of my students had a fight in Prescott. And on that fight card, the main event was Brian Barberena's brother. So I went there, cornered my guy, and in fact, the guy that I had fighting on that card had been a roommate of Barberena's brother for a while. They had been roommates, so they knew each other real well. They had trained together a little bit, and so when I went there, I got to meet the younger brother, Barberena, and he was a super good guy, hard worker, mental toughness, and he ended up winning the main event. He choked the guy unconscious. I mean, he had good boxing and he had good ground, and now we're looking at Brian, which is the bigger brother. So I like what I see in Brian Barberena. The way he fought with like Robbie Lawler, and he went up against some of these very, very highly talented, big name fighters, and he won. At times when I didn't think that he would, but we're going against Gunnar Nelson. This dude is a jiu-jitsu phenom. I think he's going to do a lot of things if it hits the ground. Barberena seems to want to stand on the feet a lot, and I'm not discounting his ground, but he seems to be more of a stand-up kind of fighter, and Gunnar, I think, wants to go to the ground. Gunnar is the favorite in this fight, but I got to go with Barberena on this one. I think he gets it done. I think he avoids the takedown, and I think he lets his hands go, and I think he's coming off of a loss, if I remember correctly. So he's not going to want that loss to happen again, I think. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Barberena. I could be right and I could be wrong. So now that leads us to the co-main event. We got a fellow Arizonan, number 3 in the lightweight division, Justin Gaethje, versus number 6, Rafael. Now, Justin Gaethje has been training up in Denver, Colorado, at altitude, and I think that's really important going into this fight. Justin Gaethje is another one of those guys that is tough as they come. He's not going to quit. He's held the interim belt for a while, and he's like one of the toughest guys, kind of like Donald Cerrone, that was like one of the toughest that didn't hold the title. When you get Justin Gaethje, you're going to get a fight. Look at his fight with Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler came into the UFC after being the champion in the WEC. I think it was the WEC, whatever that event was, Bellator, WEC, whatever it was. He was the champion over there, and then when he came to the UFC, he made waves. And when Justin Gaethje fought Michael Chandler, that was fireworks. Justin Gaethje put his foot on the gas, and he did not let up, and he is like the Terminator. He's got tremendous wrestling ability, great boxing, good footwork, and excellent leg kicks. He's got really good leg kicks, and there's no quit in Justin Gaethje. The people that he has lost to, Charles Oliveira, Khabib, these are people that are champions or former champions. Gaethje, again, number 3 on the roster. He is a fantastic fighter. Rafael has probably been doing Muay Thai kickboxing about as long or longer than Gaethje has been wrestling. This dude has snap in his punches. Like I said earlier, he's got that snap in his punches. He also has good jiu-jitsu. If it goes to the ground, I would think that the edge would go to Gaethje, but if it stays on the feet, there's a big question that comes to mind here, and that is, if Justin Gaethje throws those leg kicks, is Rafael going to check them leg kicks? Is he going to follow with the right straight counter? I don't know. It's going to be a pretty crazy fight, I think. This one could be like a fight of the night type thing. And that brings me to another thought about Gaethje. 7 fights, 9 fight bonuses. Let me say that again. In 7 fights, Gaethje got 9 bonuses. The dude's exciting. He's a finisher. When he fought Khabib, Khabib had the arm lock. And Khabib, having so much honor, he didn't want to break Gaethje's arm in front of his family. So he let go of the armbar. He knew that Gaethje wouldn't tap. He let go of the armbar and took the triangle choke and choked Gaethje unconscious. Gaethje is awesome. Rafael's got that matrix. There was a fight where a dude threw a head kick and he leaned his head back. I mean, he bent his body backwards like the Matrix. The head kick went by and then he sprung back up and he's throwing hands. This is crazy. Rafael is the favorite in this fight. But I'm going with Gaethje, my fellow Arizonan. I can't go against this dude. He's stud. Gaethje's going to get it done even though he's the underdog in this fight. You know, there's title contention written all over this if I think for either one of them that wins. So that's going to be a crazy fight. Don't blink on that one. It's going to be interesting. So now that leads us to the main event between the champion from the UK, hometown guy Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman from Nigeria, the former champion. Now this fight is crazy because this is their 3rd fight. This is the rubber match. In the first fight where they met, Usman really put it to him. Usman was the champion. Usman just dominated the first fight. Won, I think it was a decision. The second fight was held in Salt Lake City. Why do I bring that up? Let me get out of here for just a second. We will come back to that. I'm going to talk about Salt Lake City for a minute. The last time that I cornered a fighter was, guess where? It was in Salt Lake City. So here we go, right here. This is the fight event, and I cornered Jones for this fight. This was in January of this year, and we took on Latu, who was the hometown guy. We were coming into hostile territory. Myself and another student of mine went to Salt Lake, and we met Jones in Salt Lake to help with the fight. And the reason I'm bringing up Salt Lake City is because the altitude there is higher than a lot of people are comfortable with. It's like 4,300 feet. It's a beautiful place. So this is my guy here. He's a professional fighter as well. You got the guy in the black. That's the commission. And my guy over here is wrapping his hands, and we're just kind of hanging out, talking strategy and stuff. And that's just the way it goes. We were in the blue locker room, and the commission signs off on the wraps. If you got to know what you're doing. You can't just wrap a guy's hands and think that they're going to approve it. So there's my guy right there. And he fights too. Like I said, he's a pro fighter. He's been with me a long time for jiu-jitsu. He's a purple belt underneath me. And then here's Jones. And they're right here. You can see they're putting the blue tape on the gloves because they've already signed off and they've already inspected the wraps, and now they're putting the gloves on, and they're putting, that's basically like the last thing that they do right before they let you out. And so here we are, just kind of goofing around, making funny faces and being silly, trying to have some light. We had done some pretty good pre-fight workout before the fight, and here we are right before we're getting ready to walk out. Again, we're talking strategy. I had just got done working some clinch stuff with them, a little bit of ground stuff with them. He had just got done hitting the pads and the focus mitts, and right now it was mental toughness time, strategy and stuff like that. So here we are, we're walking out and getting ready to do our thing. And Salt Lake City is such a beautiful place. When we came out, like I said earlier, we were not the hometown guy. We were the one coming into their backyard. We were the one trying to take out their guy, and there's a lot of stuff about our opponent. Let me go back here. Our opponent, Latu, his dad had passed away like 2 weeks before the fight. So we have that we're up against. We also have the fact that his mother was at the weigh-ins. He's the hometown guy, trains right there, lives and trains right there in Salt Lake City. So we're really kind of in an uphill battle. They were booing us as we walked out, throwing stuff at us and booing us, and it was crazy. Of course, after the fight, they were cheering us. They saw that we had honor. They saw that we were for real. It was a great fight. Okay, now this picture is kind of funny. One of my students from the 90s, a guy named Gary. So Gary, if you're watching, I love you, brother. Gary had purchased the pay-per-view. I didn't tell hardly anybody that I was there, that I was going to be doing this. I keep a lot of that stuff hush-hush. I don't let it out that much. Anyway, Gary, my old student, was watching. He bought the pay-per-view and he was watching the fights. And then the next thing you know, or the next thing he sees is, whoa, there's Skeet walking out. What the heck? So he takes a picture of his TV, and in this picture, I'm applying Vaseline to my fighter, and right next to me is the commissioner. So I'm applying. They're making sure that you don't put Vaseline on his body and that you're cheating and stuff. So I'm putting Vaseline on his face right before he gets in the cage. So my student took a picture of his TV and he sent that to me, and he's like, "What the heck are you doing? I'm watching these fights, and here you are." So here's Jones getting in the cage. And there he is right before they started the fight. And there it is after the fight. Now, Latu won the fight. He took us down. They went to the ground. He was in my guy's guard. And then he ended up kind of passing the guard. There was a little bit of a scramble, and he ended up catching a shoulder lock. Couldn't have happened to a better man. They are good people. Latu is great. His coach is great. It was a wonderful fight. Our plan was to stand on the feet and take him out there, but I don't know if there's a man on this planet that was going to beat Latu that night. I mean, he was just well prepared. Here we are after the fight. I went into the other locker room, and a lot of love, a lot of mutual respect, honor. This gentleman right here is obviously his coach, his trainer, and he also runs a YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description box down below. The channel is called Fight City something, and he's local gym there, owns a gym and trains fighters, and people send him like gloves and stuff, and he does product reviews for them for the gloves and stuff like that. Just an excellent night. So you're probably wondering, what does all of this have to do with the UFC. It has everything to do with it. Kamaru Usman, former champion, going against the guy that he got knocked out by in his hometown. I saw the press conference today. Kamaru Usman was getting booed like crazy. And that is a factor that will affect some fighters. Obviously it didn't affect us. It was a great fight. We did our thing. And I don't think that it's going to affect Usman. I really don't. I think once he gets in that cage, all the wrestling experience and stuff that he's had, all that time that he spent on the mat and doing wrestling, I just don't think that stuff is going to enter his head. Now, Leon keeps saying that, once you knock a guy out cold, they don't come back, and sometimes it's hard for them to come back. I don't know about that. I mean, I know that some fighters, once you test that chin, things change and it's easier to knock them out in the future. So we do have that going for us, for Leon, I should say, the champion. I don't know. I think that if this fight goes the distance, I could see Kamaru Usman winning a decision. Now, there's another thing that I need to talk about. Let's scroll down again and let's take a look at Justin Gaethje. What does Justin Gaethje have to do with this fight? Justin Gaethje and Kamaru Usman have been training together in altitude at Denver. So Kamaru is training with Gaethje, and I love Gaethje. Gaethje's a phenom. So we know that Kamaru Usman, there's one thing that he's always done and that I've been impressed with, and that's he's always put the work in. Kamaru Usman, when he fought Kobe Covington, he demonstrated knockout ability. When he fought the BMF Masvidal, he put him away too. I don't think that he's going to be crafty enough to put Leon Edwards away. I don't. If we go to the first fight, he dominated the whole fight, but he didn't really hurt Leon enough to, he won a decision. Second fight, Leon won the first round. He took Kamaru down. He took the back immediately, had a body triangle lock, and threatened a submission. Then he lost round 2, lost round 3, lost round 4. In round 5, I think there was 2 minutes left, he threw a head kick. Landed, knocked out Kamaru Usman. Now, one thing that I kind of got ahead of myself on is between round 4 and 5, Leon Edwards' corner, very wise, told him, you're getting your butt kicked. You need to do something or you're going to lose this fight. Do you want that belt or not? They knew how to light the fire under him. And another reason I bring up Salt Lake City, because of the altitude, we got to see Leon Edwards, for the lack of a better description, struggle. I'm not going to say at his worst, but we got to see him face serious adversity. He was tired. He got beat up for several rounds, and he still pulled it off. So he's not out of the fight. He always is in that fight. So Kamaru Usman, a lot of people say he's going to get his belt back. We have the crowd of the UK going to be cheering for their champion in Leon Edwards. Leon has said, I have never lost a fight in the UK. Kamaru Usman is saying, I'm gonna make this a violent fight, and I'm gonna make it look easy. So you guys are probably wondering, let's just get to the prediction, Skeet. Who's gonna win this fight? My prediction, Leon Edwards, and still, he's gonna stay the champion. When he was at a fight where he had faced all kinds of adversity, his technique was clean enough that he still made a head kick happen at a night when he was against everything. So I think Leon Edwards is a smarter fighter. I think he's technically more sound, and I think he gets it done. So folks, that's all I have for you today on this video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and my predictions. Again, I could be right, I could be wrong. We don't know. That's the beauty of fighting. So please feel free to leave your comments down below and let me know what your predictions are. I love reading those comments. So please, again, hit that thumbs up and drop your prediction down below. I want to hear what you guys think. So with all that being said, folks, again, thank you so much for being here. I love you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.